What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Behind me you can see a turboed Lowrider ST, and let me say, guys, I'm very excited about the results. We're going to go through them shortly. We've got a few bikes here. There's a lot to cover in today's video. We're going to go into the dyno a little bit later, have a look at some of the runs on the bike here, talk about some of the tuning stuff. We've got, I think, 5 bikes to talk about today, and plus we've had a rearrange in the workshop. So we've got a new technician starting with us now. He's been here a month or so now. He's fitting in really well, but look, you may remember my toolbox here used to be over there, and we sort of had 2 sort of bays here. Now we've sort of got 3 bays going on there now, guys. So our new guy sort of fits in there really nice. He's doing some really good stuff. Mitch, the apprentice, is doing really well too. He's got a twin cam here. He's doing something in the cam chest here. If I'm guessing, being a 110, we'd have a lifter issue, I would assume. I'm getting distracted here, guys, but I don't even know what's going on here. I never saw what he was up to on Friday afternoon. Today's Sunday, we're filming this. So I would assume there's some sort of lifter issue here. Oh yes, look at that. There's some, you guys can see those marks there. Let's have, where's the camshaft? He's got it all over here, look, here we go. What have we got? There we go, the front exhaust. All up there is, oh, there's some weird, what the hell is going on there? The phone's not focused. Anyway, there's some issues there, but anyway, so Mitch, the apprentice, is going really well. Really happy with him. Guys, we've got a lot to go through here. We've got a 135 cubic inch CVO Road Glide I've just built. Still waiting on the air filter, so this one isn't tuned. You can see we've got the SPC Big Bore Works Edition 2-into-1 pipe. Very excited to see how that's going to go. You can see it's on this bike as well. Now this guy came up from Newcastle. I haven't tuned it yet because there is some other issues with the bike. Unfortunately, the customer had to leave it with me and fly back home because I did not want to dyno tune it in its current state. So we still need to find out what's going on there. But 2 of these new Big Bore Works Edition pipes to see how they respond. This one, as I said, this is the full kit from Screaming Eagle. So it's the 135, it deletes the VVT. We get the new 68mm throttle body, all the fruit, these new Catapult CNC ported heads. I cannot wait to see how this goes. Now, unfortunately, being a 2025, there is no tuning. So TDS provided tuning option for up until 2024 for these things, but 2025 is different again. So no tuning available in the aftermarket. So we are using the Screaming Eagle Pro Street Tuner. So limited in its performance, but I still think it's going to be a great package nonetheless. That's coming up soon. Behind me here, we've got a 128 cubic inch stump puller, a Lowrider S. The new guy put this one together. I haven't tuned, yes, I have tuned that one, but we do have a bit of a mark on the air filter here. I'm not sure what's happened there, but we will be replacing that before it gets delivered. You can see we're running a breakout tank on here. That's because this bike had a big paint set, so we painted the wheels, the fenders. We swap the tank back to the Lowrider tank once it comes back from paint and get that guy there sorted. But actually, that reminds me, guys, we've also got a CVO Road Glide ST in the showroom. Let's go and have a look at that. We did a Cyclerama CR515 cam in that and had some incredible results. So let's dive in there and check that out. All right, so here's our CVO Road Glide ST. It's running the Chromeworks full systems. And here's what we made, guys. 140 horsepower and 148 foot-pounds of torque. Probably a little bit soft off the bottom there. There is some tuning differences with these things, the way they respond. So with these new things, the way they tune up, they are a little bit different than what we're used to. I think the tuning on these things is really going to start to separate some of the tuners out there. I, for one, want to stay on top of it and be as involved as possible with all the developments that go on that we see, because as I said, I really think it'll leave some of the guys, if they're not quite sure, it's definitely going to separate some of the tuners, I feel. But look, pretty happy with how I've tuned this one up here. You can see, you know, it's probably a little soft off the bottom there, but everything I've been trying to do so far is just producing reasonable results. I mean, that is really good there as far as I'm concerned. There's probably a bit more in it, but 515 cam, that's all we did. Stock everything else, stock injectors, stock intake, just the pipes on there. Righto, guys, so we're going to talk about the fitment of the turbocharger kit on this Lowrider ST. I am really impressed with how it's come about. It really doesn't take up any more room than an air filter. Let's check it out. Right, so there's the bike as you sit on it. Now you can see that the plenum chamber here does not stick out any more or any less than some of these aftermarket air filters. Now, it just fits really nicely against the bike. I mean, on the Lowrider ST, I feel it fits that entire fairing area really well and just suits the bike. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, it's really nice. Time will tell how good the quality of the coatings are and everything, but you know, everything seems high quality. The feed line here for the turbo, the oil feed line, there's a little fitting that goes into the just up in there. We just take the factory bung out, we fit our fitting, run our line up, feeds the turbo. The drain back here, the drain back for the turbo up underneath, runs down and into the new cam cover from Trask, and you can see it just runs down into there. This bike already had a CR45 cam in there, so all we had to do was literally swap the cam cover, and we just removed the exhaust and fitted this up. Now this took me about, I want to say probably 4 hours mucking around with it, fitting it up, taking my time just checking it all out. But I'm sure having done one now, you could easily fit this in 2 hours if you were really efficient at them. But yeah, 2 to 3 hours. Fitting and tuning is on top of that. Alright guys, so getting into the install here, obviously we have to up the injector size. The kit does come with a set, but I actually went with a set of APE 10.2 GPS injectors just for the simplicity that they fit the OEM harness quite easily. There is an adapter in the kit that comes with it for the ones that come in the kit, but I just wanted to simplify it just with the APE ones, so we ran with them. Now we've obviously got our throttle body loose in the on the flange nuts there, so when we fit our backing plate here for the plenum chamber, we can center the throttle body and intake manifold onto the backing plate before we tighten everything up. Just as simple as removing the cam cover as usual on this one and just fitting the Trask one up here. It actually has, it's a full billet machine piece. It's got some extra mounts there to support the turbo manifold and the drain back fitting as well for the turbo oil feed. Right, so we've got the exhaust manifold bolted up now. I'm just running the wideband sensors in it because I'm not using a Thundermax, I'm not tuning it with that. So I've got these guys mounted in here. And I believe it's going to be easy enough to get them out once I need to remove them, but just wanted to touch on something with tuning. When you do boosted stuff, the AFR measured before the turbo and after the turbo are different due to the pressure. So usually we have an exhaust canister to send the to compensate for the pressure difference, so we get a correct reading. So yeah, we're just going to be compensating mathematically, but yeah, that's what we're dealing with at the moment. We're going to get the rest of the turbo fitted up here and see how it all starts to take shape. Now the manifold's all bolted up, it's just a matter of placing our turbo on. The V-band connections make it a really simple, straightforward fit. It works really good. Just basically setting everything up here, making sure we're all in line before we cut our silicone hose to the plenum chamber. But other than that, it's really straightforward, guys. You can see here it just fits up really nice. It tucks in really nice and tight. I can't get over how good this thing fits. So what I'm doing here, guys, is just I've got the feed line for the turbo off, and I'm just cranking the engine over and over just to build oil pressure to basically purge that feed line of air, so I know that when I fire this thing up, that turbine shaft has plenty of oil feed. You'll start to see it come out here in a minute. So you can see it's running down the inside of the jug there. We've got plenty of oil feed, so time to nip this fitting back up onto the turbo and fire this thing up. look at that, it's up here. What a win. Alright guys, so we're getting ready to do the tune on this now, but I just want to touch on O2 sensor placement. So I have the wideband sensors for the Techno Research software in the exhaust manifold, so pre-turbo. You should have, technically you should have a compensating canister that it compensates for the pressure pulses and the heat. It helps sort of stabilize the pressure in the manifold to help, you know, get a better reading, because you can get false rich and false lean readings due to the higher pressure in the manifold there. So we do have to compensate for that. Obviously we need to run this thing a little bit richer than we typically do. Most of the big bore builds I do, 12.8 to 13 to 1 is typically where we like to see them. That's where they make the most power. The turbocharger is going to add a little bit more heat to the combustion process, so we will need to richen that up to cool down. We need to pull some of that heat energy out with some more fuel. So we've got to pull some timing out, obviously, because yeah, we don't want to go putting the heads on the roof or the crank on the floor. So yeah, we're just going to take our time with this one and see how we go. And I'll do my best to talk you through all the changes that I make along the way. So let's dive into it and see what this thing makes. Alrighty guys, we are a bit of the way through the tuning process and it is responding quite well, and I'm very happy with how it's coming up. We've done a few runs out at the moment, 154, 158, 151, 162, 148, 160. So it's coming along really well. I'm being really conservative on the timing. I think I've got a max there, give me a look. About 24 degrees, I think. That's the VE, give me the spark table. Yeah, 24 degrees, which I you know, probably 1 or 2 degrees more, maybe 25, 26 is probably all I want to put in there, but I probably could get a little bit more, throw a little bit more in earlier, just, you know, before the boost really comes on hard, so we could probably pick the bottom end up a little bit, but I'm just taking my time with this. The AFRs, as you know, spoke earlier about measuring pre-turbo and post-turbo. So I do actually have the Dynojet sniffers up the back of the Techno Research stuff. There is a difference pre and post-turbo with what I'm seeing here. So we are, you know, we're allowing for that, we're compensating for that, but I'm really just taking my time with this one. It's coming along really well. I don't think we're going to have any dramas. It's just going to be a longer process than typically, you know, your naturally aspirated big bores that we do. Go through the turbo and first. So you can see here 150, I'm going to call it 158. It's 157.99 and 164 foot-pounds of torque. Have a look at how much torque it makes right there, just under 2200 revs, 140 plus foot-pounds of torque. Huge increase. Now this is a 117, and this too, guys, is on the 5 psi wastegate spring. So there is a bigger spring in there. You can go up to about 8 to 9 pounds. We just kept this thing at 5 pounds because we still have the composite head gasket. The engine is unopened as far as a CR 485 cam. So with the tuning side of it, guys, we used the direct link from Techno Research. Our AFR fuel request table is looking at manifold absolute pressure and RPM. So when we're in boost, we are in, you know, we are above 100 maps, so we're above atmospheric pressure, so anything above that, it doesn't know that it's seeing that, but that's just what's going in there. So we request a lot of fuel at 80, 90, 95, 100 map to ensure we have enough fuel delivery at those RPM cells. We dial that in with our VE, obviously. We had to pull a little bit of timing out of this. It's quite reserved as far as I'm concerned. But the way it rides is unbelievable. I mean, it feels like a blower the way it works. It comes, there's no lag. It just, because it is a smaller turbo. I believe there is a bigger turbocharger kit you can get that upgrades this slightly. You know, 158 horsepower and 164 foot-pounds of torque out of a 117. I'm very excited about that. I really would have liked to have put the 8 PSI spring in there just to see if it makes a bit more. I know it would. I've seen some other guys making more power. Me, just being that the motor is stock, I didn't want to...
Daddy,
yes, mate?
who is this guy?
Look, guys, I'm very excited about doing my first turbo kit. I would really, really love to build a turbo bike specifically to handle some boost. So that would just be incredible. Over 200 horsepower would be easily achieved with, you know, a good set of heads, a good camshaft in there, a bigger turbo, all the rest of it would just come together really, really nice. I mean, as just a bolt-on kit in the most simplest form possible, I think it is an incredible result to achieve here. Out of a stock 117, I mean, it's a cam, we've got a camshaft in there, but the engine is unopened. So, you know, if we wanted to build this thing for a bit of boost, we'd put some MLS head gaskets in there, probably do some bigger studs on there, bigger flange nuts to hold it all clamped together, and really lean on this thing to produce awesome power. But again, that's a whole nother animal. As a bolt-on kit, in its simplest form, it is unbelievable. Sounds great too. I, for one, can't believe just how good this thing came up. I'm really excited about it. The CVO there, I really, really excited to see how that comes up. I know it's only the Screaming Eagle tuner, but still, I think it's going to deliver reasonably respectable results nonetheless. Guys, there's just so much going on here at the moment. As I said, the new apprentice Mitch is coming along really well. He's doing some great stuff. Our new guy over there, Lawrence, he's just slotted in really well. It's all working out really good so far. Thanks for watching, guys. I had an absolute blast doing this bike. It's just been a crazy, crazy month for the month of June. So many builds going on. We've had some cam jobs in there as well we didn't cover and talk about. It's just, yeah, incredibly busy. Thanks for your patience. See you next time.